All right. Hi, everyone. We're live. Welcome to Soul Talk. And our guest for today is Euauau Roco-de Leon. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? All right. Before we go to the talk, I'd like to introduce Euauau. She is a certified teacher in several styles of yoga, which includes yin, laughter, and hatha. But she has found her true calling as a Kundalini Yoga teacher. So let's just leave it at that first because hyper, this hyper woman, hyper energy, and multi-talented woman has a lot under her sleeve. So we'll talk about her other ventures, all right? But for now, let's stick with Euauau being a Kundalini yoga teacher and yan, sige, how are you? Kamusta ka?
I'm good. So excited. Deeply honored to be part of your show. And yeah,
Yeah,
fire away.
Hindi, I'd like to, just to share to our viewers that I've met Euauau in a community yoga. So she was holding a yoga session for a small community, and I was invited to that community. And when I first experienced Kundalini yoga, I super love it because I could feel the energy talaga flowing through my body. But of course, Denise being Kundalini yoga being your true calling, I'm sure the experience is much more different compared to mine. So could you at least explain what Kundalini yoga is? How how did it change your life? How did it improve your life? What is it all about?
Yes. Well, um, luckily we have a long show to go because it's hard to wrap it up, in just a few sentences. So maybe we can begin with the etymology. So Kundalini is from the root word kundal. So in Sanskrit, kundal means lock of the beloved. So it's usually in the form of like a lock of hair that's coiled also. Like they show sometimes the coiled serpent. So if you're familiar with the caduceus, that is the yung hinahawak ni Mercury. So of course everybody knows Mercury drug. So so the god Mercury, he's holding this staff with that coiled serpent. So that is actually the symbol of Kundalini. So the Kundalini energy is supposedly at the base of the spine. So it's an untapped energy that everybody has. All of us humans, we have that. It sits at the base of the spine, like a coiled serpent, like a lock of curled hair, and it's just right there and we don't get to tap it. So the point of Kundalini Yoga is to tap that energy and help it rise up, to help the Kundalini rise safely, and then for us to be able to use it. And that is done through the practice of Kundalini Yoga Kriyas. So Kundalini Yoga, unlike the other styles, is Kriya based, where the other styles of yoga are asana based or posture based. So Kundalini Yoga is an entire, parang it's a three-in-one package. You can't just do the asanas because in every Kundalini class, aside from doing all the postures, the asanas, the movements, you will be also having a lot of pranayama or breath work. There's always a meditation portion. And then we also have a lot of chanting, or what we call nad yoga, sound, because the element of sound is also another powerful way to tap into energies. So we have a lot of mantras. So mantra is from the root word um, man, I believe is mind, and then trang, meaning projection. So it is the creative projection of the mind through sound. So that's mantra. That's why Kundalini has a lot of beautiful mantras. And there, so that's Kundalini Yoga for you in a nutshell. It can be practiced by anybody, but it's a very, very active and very powerful experience. In fact, it was so powerful for me on my first Kundalini Yoga class that we were doing cat-cow, which is a very simple spinal flex. And I began to cry, and I couldn't understand why. But after years of practicing different styles of yoga, that was the only time that I cried all of a sudden in a class. And it was a purging, cleansing, purifying type of release when I was, when there were tears falling down my eyes. I felt that my anahata, or my heart chakra, was opening from the
Mm-hmm.
sheer movement of the body. So sometimes you need that body to move for the energy to flow well, to clear the energy. So it affects one another. You can't just be eating right. That's of course part of good living, but you need your body to be healthy so that energetically wise, it's also beneficial for you when you're at your best. So that's what happened to me in my first Kundalini yoga class. I was
Oo.
crying, and yeah,
Yes.
so it was so powerful.
Mm-mm. What just Denise said is the connection of the body to your emotions and mind.
Mhm.
So you could make your body healthy, move the body so that you could heal issues that are rooted in your emotions, in your mind. Kasi that's the work of Kundalini yoga, to move the body para magkaroon ng healing. And I just want to butt in. kasi
Okay.
hindi kasi in my case, like when I do counseling, I hit my target is the mental and emotional, so that the behaviors would be okay, so that the body would also be okay. But this time with Euaua's Kundalini yoga, it's healing through the body.
Through the body. Actually, it's a holistic approach.
Mm-mm.
I would say Kundalini yoga is uh, one of, if not the most comprehensive, holistic, and esoteric um, practice out there, because it's very cohesive. Like, it really jam packs everything inside. Like I said, you need to do the meditation. That's mental work. That's mental exercise to still the body. And some of our meditations require you to do mudras, or hand gestures, to direct the energies. And then sometimes some of them have pranayama also. And some meditations we have also have mantra chanting. So like you're multitasking. At the
Mm-mm.
same time, you put yourself in a state of being connected but unconnected at the same time. You lose yourself in the throes, in the rapture of the practice, in the meditation, but you're aware, yet um, at the same time you've also stepped back a bit. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Oo. Actually, you have to experience what Kundalini Yoga is
Actually,
for you
yes.
to really understand what Yuewa is saying.
Yes.
Oo. So, let's invite them. Actually, who's watching right now? Oh, si Mama Grace, si Joy, Donna is here, Wilma. Hi. Ayun. So, we're inviting those who are watching live and those who are going to watch the replay to
Yeah.
join Yuewa's Kundalini Yoga. Every when by on Saturdays,
So
right?
it's every Saturdays, normally around 2 o'clock ish. So I normally time it during Jupiter hours. So that's gonna change a little bit, but more or less 2 o'clock, 2:05, 2:15. But yes, every Saturday, and then I can share also, yeah, with you, or you can just message me as well
Mm-mm.
if you want to join, and I'd be happy to have you there, because there's only one true way to understand it, is to experience it yourself. So
Yes.
no
So
amount of words
yes,
can
kahit
encapsulate.
once nyo lang na ma-experience. Hindi, pero kasi Kundalini Yoga, it's not just a practice, but it also has an impact in your life. Ano yung benefits niya sa'yo? In your personal experience, ha, Denise? Kasi
At
kung,
first, yes, sure,
oo,
sure. Um,
For the viewers, sorry, I'm switching between Denise and Euauau.
yes. Maybe I can also clarify. So
yes.
we all have a birth name. In my birth certificate, it says Marie Denise Roco. And Denise is, sorry, I'm a writer also kasi that's my background. So Denise, the etymology of Denise is from Dionysus, or the Greek god of wine. So I still
Wow.
encapsulate a lot of that, party vibe energy. It's still inside
Yes.
me. But about, I think, 20, let me see, 2014 or something like that, 2015, I had a dream, maybe around April or May. And then in that dream, I was given the name Eauaua. Like, I really saw it in a dream. It was spelled out as an entry in the dictionary, Eauaua. And it took me more than a month because I had to go through a seminar. And in that seminar, by this Singaporean guru who could speak light language, she explained to me that the meaning of Eauaua means Mother Earth of the present moment. So
Wow, that's beautiful.
so I've embraced that new spiritual name for myself, and I really feel connected to it. So I the best of both worlds. So my my human energy is in Denise, and I feel that my higher self is in Euaua.
Mm-mm. Ayun. And kaya that's why I'm interchanging both because I originally knew you as Denise and then you started using Uwewa and I wanted to use it as well. Pero minsan because of habit, I go back to Denise.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But that's a good story. You're really very intuitive and it's actually a blessing that you were able to meet a guru who could explain the meaning of Uwewa, which is yung light language, it's like a sacred language of the soul. So,
Yes, yes.
ano,
Thank
um,
you for explaining also that.
oo. Hindi kasi siya eh, 'di ba? Parang there are sounds that the mind would not really comprehend, but the soul would understand. And
Yes.
you'd feel just good just hearing those sounds. So those are light languages or sacred languages that yung tawag natin doon. Ayun, pero Kundalini Yoga, how did it help you in how did you integrate it into your life? What's the practical application or benefit to your life?
Well, yeah. So maybe I can bring everybody back to my personal experience of my first ever Kundalini Yoga class, which was sometime in 2013. And yeah, so like I said, yeah, I was crying in the class. Well, it was a good kind of cry. And then by the end of that class, I was so powerfully moved. It really provoked me to the point that in just what 1 hour and a half, I already knew that I had to learn it to the point of becoming a teacher because it would be a sin not to share Kundalini Yoga. Because I've tried different styles, pero wala lang. Like, I just like attending as a student. But ito, with the Kundalini Yoga, talagang I was 101% sure I had to be a teacher. And then later on that evening, I was so inspired. I wanted to meditate. So when my son was asleep, I sat down beside him in bed. And then when I started to meditate, I closed my eyes. I put my hand over my son. And then I was directly journeying into a past life. And I saw my son and what he was to me in a past life. So um, that's another whole story. But it was that powerful for me that all these things happened so quickly in a snap with just one Kundalini yoga class. Of course, it's not the same for all. Maybe others get a Kundalini awakening or a Kundalini rising experience after several. And in fact, some people may find it a bit too strong for them that um, they get afraid. But there's really no reason to be afraid because it is something to help uplift you and to help improve your life. So for me, since I started that Kundalini class, I would go every single week again and again because I felt that it was such a it was it's like taking a cup of coffee and then the high of the caffeine lasts you for an entire week. The energy from that one class, it will power you throughout the whole week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how
Oo.
it helped me. And also, it has an aspect of poking, provoking, confronting, and elevating. So poke, provoke, confront, elevate. So that seems to be how Kundalini Yoga works. It will poke you through the asanas, through the breath work. You might get pissed off, you might get annoyed. So it kind of it's like a doctor, diba? They'll palpate you to see where your aches and pains are. And then after they do the poking, maybe there's a part that will get provoked. So obviously, when the things resurface, whether it's a mental challenge, a physical challenge, or an emotional challenge, once you get provoked, now it will ask you the question: Are you gonna react, or are you going to respond, or are you just gonna do a fight or flight? Are you gonna confront it, or will you hide and just run away? So that's Kundalini Yoga for you. It's instant shadow work for you. It gives you assignments in yourself if you're ready enough to really embrace that wanting to change, to improve. So that's what I like about it. There's no escape. Kasi nga in one practice, it will make you do so many things in so short a time that it's up to you if you want to confront it and then elevate, help yourself, improve. So me, it brought up also a lot of anger issues that I had. And actually, for a while after siguro 1 year of practicing Kundalini Yoga, believe it or not, I stopped. I took a break for 1 year. I didn't practice Kundalini Yoga because I noticed, why am I always getting angry? I'm not At first, I was blaming Kundalini Yoga as a practice na I should stop Kundalini. It's always making me angry. But it wasn't the case. I wasn't ready to face my demons. In other words,
Mm-hmm.
it was a purging of all those issues. And so later on, I realized that, well, I have to confront it.
Yes, you have
So
to face it na.
I have to face it. And then I realized, okay, after I face it, it's okay na. Then I elevate. So that's how I'm able to go through life,
Mm-mm.
through
Actually,
those steps.
um, it reminded me of other forms of meditation as well and other forms of yoga wherein it has the power to resurface your issues that you suppress or repress. And when it, surfaces into the physical reality, into the now, you're confronted with it and you just have to make a decision. Am I going to face this? Or am I just going to run away from it? It really depends on how you would respond to the resurfacing of the issues. But it's beautiful that Euaua chose to, face it, because that's part of the healing process as well, to face the issues when you are ready. And most of the time you're not aware you're ready, pero your body is already, making the issue surface na. So that means this is already a ripe time. Yun. And what's good about Kundalini Yoga is that it really energizes Denise to do her work, which is really a lot. Parang, oo, how do you identify yourself? What's your level of self-awareness? Because you identify so much as a Kundalini teacher, but you're also a lifestyle writer, you're a PR and events specialist, you manage the family business, the corporate family business to, she manages that as well. So how are you able to, integrate all those aspects of yourself and identify, be comfortable with just who you are kahit na ang dami-dami mong ginagawa?
Well, I guess one thing is really acceptance of myself. I really have itchy feet. I come from a brood of three siblings, and then ako yung ate, and I think I've asked my mom. So, between the three of us, sino yung pinakamakulit? Parang hands down, it's really me. So, since I was a kid, they don't even like to take me to church kasi anywhere you take me, I will just run and survey the area and walk, and then you won't find me na. But that's just really what I am. I'm really a seeker by nature. So I'm just, following my own footsteps and marching to the own beat of my drum. So I'm just the type of person who simply cannot stay put. Um, it was really, for a time, I really did not want to be a housewife, but due to quarantine, it's
Mhm.
forcing me to be a housewife 24/7 staying in the house. But I realize it's also a tough job, because there's just so much to do. And
Mhm.
sometimes some of the forms of my own relaxation is also doing more activities. So I guess that's how I'm able to do what I do. I've accepted that I'm really makulit and I really like to do a lot of things. So maybe one area that has made me successful in being able to juggle all those responsibilities is um, having that time for self-care. That's super super important, especially now in this pandemic and this quarantine. I can't stress that enough. You might get lost in all the work, housework, or your own jobs or your own career, staring at the screen or whatever it may be. But if you don't give back to yourself, how can you give more to others? So it's like having a cup that's empty that you're trying to pour for everybody and wala ka ng laman in your own cup. So you have to keep that cup filled with self-care. You have to give yourself that self-care to be able to give more to others. And in my experience, how I give myself self-care is of course Kundalini Yoga. That's of course number one. That's given already. You all know that. Number two, maybe watching a lot of K dramas. I don't know. I have to admit, they're just so fun. And what else?
Oo.
Dancing, singing. I do a lot of gardening now, so that's such a stress relief. And yes, finding a lot of hobbies you're passionate about. If you don't know yet what they are, there's so much to explore. Maybe cooking. I also enjoy cooking, actually. That's why I was telling Brendy, should I squeeze in chopping the tomatoes before this show starts? Because I'm about to make mongo, a big pot of mongo. So yeah, and I also make my own homemade coffee liquor, which is really nice.
Mm.
Super, super yummy. I'm sorry,
Actually,
I got lost. See, what was your
sige.
question?
Oo, actually ang dami nga niya ginagawa, eh. Pero yun nga, your journey of the journey of accepting who you are despite all the different roles. I mean, the roles that you have are quite diverse. You're a writer, which, if I think about it, parang writers are more introverts, but no, you're an extrovert. Tapos, you're also in PR and events. So, that's truly an extrovert. Pero if I think of a yoga teacher, I would think, ma-zen. And you speak in a zen way. Pero, parang ang dami rin kasi tuloy-tuloy. So, it's a merging of the introvert and the extrovert. So, how are you able to accept who you really are? Parang, paano mo nahanap yung identity mo?
I have to say I'm a natural rebel. I don't know if it's written on the stars because my sun sign is Aries, my ascendant sign is Gemini. I'm a Leo moon. So for those who are into astrology, you'll probably already know the kind of profile, the energetic profile that I have. I really can't stay put. It will drive me crazy. Sometimes even if I'm sick, my husband tells me, "Why don't I just tie you in bed so that you stop moving?" And it's really the hardest thing to do for me to just stay put. But there are times that I have to. Otherwise, I really crash.
Oo.
I go
Pero,
all out and then I crash. But I think
mm,
I've got it better now throughout the year. So like you noticed, like what you said about me nga, parang I seem very zen. but yet I'm full of energy. So I guess the secret there is in containing that energy and being able to utilize it in the most productive way, which is, I guess, spreading it out,
Mm-hmm.
throughout the day, the energy in different things
Mm-hmm.
and different hobbies, different activities, different passions. So yeah, so just so you know, also for everybody watching, my corporate business is I'm president of RA Rocco Insurance Brokers. So we handle all lines of insurances, life and non-life. And of course, aside from that, as Brendy said, I'm a lifestyle writer. So I was senior writer for People Asia magazine, for those who know that publication, and I still contribute to them. And I also write for Drink Manila, among many others. Yun. And what else? I
Oo.
guess really the
Pero,
secret is following your bliss. I know it's cheesy, but follow your bliss. I mean, I'm just following my heart. Yun. But at the same time, keeping it grounded because I'm a graduate of creative writing. And I never in my entire life thought that I would end up in insurance. But
oo,
fate
tapos
blew me
managing
here.
pa. Yeah, tapos managing
Yeah.
pa the entire insurance brokerage firm.
Yeah. So it
Mm-mm.
was really, God's path for me to help out in the family business, which is another story.
How are you at work? Kasi I think you have mastered control and focus. So are you able to really manage your time well and then to spread it out to all the different work that you do?
Yeah. So really every single second counts, every minute counts, every moment counts. Really, never a dull moment because um like I know it's so I'm old school, and if you see this, I have a planner. I still write, like literally handwrite. I
Oo.
don't
Actually ako
really.
rin. I still have the planner. I like writing so much.
Yes, same, same, same. I think there are also scientific studies also that show handwriting will still be able to stimulate and activate your what do you call this, motor sensory skills, and help you retain memory better as opposed to typing down what you need to do, because there's that connection with the hand, the energy of the hand and the brain. And with the hand, it's related to doing, to outgoing energy, so it's able to manifest more when you write as opposed to just typing. But hey, whatever works for you, that's great. I'm just saying that for me personally, I like writing. There's like a magic to it when you
Yes.
write something that you need to do and then you check that box.
Mhm.
Yun. So there.
Oo. Pero ano, kasi you're before the pandemic, you're always on the go. You hardly stay put
And
inside the
still
house.
am. Still.
But now during the pandemic, you're still always on the go. It's just
Oh
that
yeah.
your task is you're just jumping from one task to another.
Yeah, so I've expanded my workspace from inside the house to outside. So I've started gardening, propagating basil. I have two tower gardens. We're growing a lot of talinum. We have dahon ng sile. I have some three aloe vera plants. It's really fun. And oregano. Apparently, oregano is very easy to grow, and you can, if for those who have oregano in the house, you can chop up your oregano leaves and then just put it in hot water and make it into tea. And there's so many health benefits. You can Google it. Yeah, those are easy things to grow.
Oo.
And
Oo,
yeah,
actually yung mga gusto ni Denise, it's really very natural. She's really, growing her roots down towards the earth and everything. You're also a vegetarian na ba? Vegetarian na kayo, 'di ba?
yes, I was for a time. I guess I feel that I've come full circle from being, a regular carnivore to becoming pescatarian, and then lacto-ovo vegetarian, and then finally becoming vegan for maybe a year, 2 years vegan, and then afterwards back to vegetarian, and now I will honestly say I am flexitarian, meaning predominantly I would say 95% of my food is vegan vegetarian. And then I have this little 5% that's occasionally I eat eggs or maybe fish
Mhm.
or slivers of meat. Yun.
Oo.
Just listening
Actually,
to my body.
yeah, you just have to listen to your body eh. Kasi if you're not yet ready, if the body is not yet ready to be purely vegan, you have to honor your body.
Yeah.
It's not just a choice. You really have to listen to your body. And it takes time to shift yung lifestyle. Ayun. Okay. Hi Bambi and hi Joyce. Joyce also agrees that it's really she's also using notebooks. She loves
Oh,
writing.
good.
Oo,
Keep it up.
there's really something when it comes to writing eh. You could read what Denise said is true. You could actually manifest more when you write.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. Ayun. So,
Yes.
ito, what can you um when it comes to your journey, kasi 'di ba, parang Kundalini Yoga helped you resolve a lot of anger issues.
Mm-hmm.
And when it got resolved, did you feel that ang dami na rin changes that you're more accepting of the the different aspects of yourself kasi there's a lot of aspects of ourselves, eh, 'di ba? And a lot of people have a hard time integrating those diverse selves. How were you able to do it? What was the experience for you?
Yeah, I think so. With regards to that, I think that the journey to healing is a constant one. It's a lifelong journey. Healing will always be a work in progress, no? So whatever faith you have or whatever spiritual practice you have, I actually have a client who I do crystal Reiki chakra healing for,
Wow.
and she's always curious to ask me, so how is my session? Like how can I keep myself, blockage free? Like how can I keep everything clear? And then I try to tell her, hey girl, like it's not gonna happen. You think you can wax the car once and then forever the car will be shiny. Parang it's constant work. Whether you like it or not, you're gonna keep using the car being, an analogy to your body, to yourself, to your soul. It's forever in this journey. So yes, it will get dirty from time to time, parts of it will, but that's what we're here for on this earth, to just continue that progress and that journey of cleaning it up, chakra by chakra, or bit by bit. And you don't have to put so much pressure in wanting to be perfect na, okay, I have no more problems, I have no more issues, I'm a perfect person,
Mhm.
everything's fine. So like that show, right? It's okay not to be okay. So yun, ganon siya. That's just what it is. And that's what I like about Kundalini Yoga, is that it hastens or it expedites the process of, internal improvement and cleansing. I mean,
Mm-mm.
if you're ready for it.
Oo. Saka Kundalini is also grounding, right? It's
Yes.
very grounding. When I say grounding, it's parang naka-ground ka sa earth and you actually do the work in the mental and physical world para maging mas prosperous yung life and all that. Would you want to add anything about that,
Yes,
Denise?
I
What grounding
definitely
is? Yes.
absolutely want to add something to that. So there are other practices, whether it's yoga or otherwise, wherein the teacher will tell you, like maybe in taekwondo class, they'll say, your yellow belt, and then your blue belt, and then your brown belt. In Kundalini Yoga, um, we believe in self initiation. So um, it's up to you to know, and that's why it's one of the few practices na um, you'll notice Kundalini teachers will not be walking around. They will not do self adjustments. And the reason for that is not because they're tamad or they don't want to. It's because of that very principle of self initiation. Sariling kayod. Like,
Mm-mm.
you don't
Kung
give the
nasaan ka,
fish.
nandun ka.
Yeah, like you don't give a fish to the man, but if you want a long-term goal, you teach the man how to fish. So it's like that in Kundalini Yoga. Like if you're doing a posture, let's say a spinal flex, you really have to be the one to do the work because nobody else has that body. You're the soul living in that body. So you have to be responsible to know, ay, parang I'm bending too much or I might be injuring myself. You have to be the one to know. And that's what the practice is there for you to be able to really gain and connect that intimate experience with yourself and connect that relationship even deeper from soul to body, body to soul that you can't really find. You're not waiting for a teacher to tell you, "Ay, mali yan." It has to be you to know,
Mm-mm.
you yourself to know. So,
So
yeah,
the
that's
initiation has to come from the
from
student.
you. Yeah, so that's what we have in Kundalini Yoga, self initiation.
Mm-mm.
There.
Okay. So parang
Yeah.
that also makes sense na that would also that kind of thinking or that kind of consciousness, you would automatically apply it to the other aspects of your life.
Yes, and so connecting with that, physically, like in Kundalini Yoga, you'll also be able to identify Kundalini Yoga teachers, even from a distance. Why? Because we're always wearing white from head to foot, color white.
With the
And then,
turban.
yes, and then our hair is tied up like this in a rishi knot. And then we also have, well, I'm not wearing one right now, but we have a head wrap or a turban to cover our head. So there's many reasons for that, but one of them is to help us remember that we are crowning ourselves.
Oh, that's so
Whether or
nice.
not you have a physical turban, you're always a king, you're always a queen. We are all divine, yet living a human experience. We have divinity and our humanity, and that is one. So we don't look for God outside of ourselves, but we have to remember that God is within us. So that's one of the reasons why we also wear the turban. And then another reason is also because for those who just want to try, because I was a big skeptic, I never believed in mga turban wearing, ang init-init, what for, right? Head wrap. We're in the tropics. But I realized when I was doing my Kundalini Yoga Teacher training na, okay, lahat ng batch mates ko, they're all wearing it. Sige, so fine, I'll wear it now. I noticed later on was that for some reason I was able to, I don't know, memorize more. I was able to retain more energy. I was able to concentrate better. For some reason, like wearing that head wrap helped me, yeah, focus. And also, if you want to protect yourself from maybe other, I don't know, energies, other nega vibes, so wearing a head wrap will also be useful in that respect. Yeah, energy wise, to retain your energy so it doesn't just keep spilling out. And that's also why we tie our hair, because the hair is also said to be our antennas, to the divine, to God. So we want to keep it contained, not scattered everywhere. Of course, it's lovely to see beautiful, long, flowing hair, but if at least, if during the daytime, during your practice, that's why we keep it all together, keep the energy contained. Yun.
Ah, so that also makes sense kasi I have a spiritual teacher who also told me na if your hair is nakababa, the energy is really strong. As in, so when you tie it, it's all contained. So
Mhm.
parang ang practice doon is if you're leading a class or a meditation and you want the energy to be strong, you put your hair down. But if you want to contain it, just tie it in a bun. Ayun. And it also makes sense. Meron din akong spiritual teacher who said that kung ayaw nyo nang makontaminate with negative energy, cover your, yung batok. Parang with a shawl or with a, with in your case, a head wrap or a turban. That's protection. So,
Yeah.
parang kakaiba. But there's a semblance between the philosophies. But,
Mhm.
ayun, since it's now almost 5:40, so Eddie, Di ba, ang bilis?
Yes, yes. I feel like we've only just begun. Okay.
Oo, kasi we've parang we've talked about how Denise does her self-care. We all have different forms of doing self-care. And it's true that we have to be full for you to be able to give back. And you know, in in doing a lot of things and doing a lot of work, what's important is that in every work that you do, you follow your heart, you follow your bliss. And a lot of us, forget it from time to time, but this is a good reminder to simply follow your heart, to follow that bliss, and that time is truly precious.
Yes.
So make use of it, maximize your time, and
Mhm.
yon. So any last words, parting words that you have for
Last words.
uh,
Oh.
di naman, just for this show, for this for Soul Talk. The last parting words that you could give.
Um, yeah, so I think we were chatting about this earlier before the show started, and we discussed about, like how to, like when you're stuck in a very hard predicament in life and you're really stuck between, a rock and a hard place, and you don't know what to do. Um, I think one of the things that I can share is I'm just gonna like paraphrase it because it's actually also from the Bible. Something about having faith, like the flowers and the plants and the trees. Like it says, don't worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Just be who you are and what you are today. Because the plants and the flowers and the trees, God gives them everything. Sunlight is given, it's free. Water, the rain is free. The air is free, it's just there. So if you just um, walk yourself, God will show you the door. You just have to really walk through it. Sometimes it takes a leap of faith. And that's the scariest and hardest thing to do, the first step. Sometimes, and I've had to do it twice in my life, quitting two jobs without a backup job yet. But I know it was the only thing to do. It was the best thing to do. And I did it. I did it in my life. I quit two of my jobs without a backup job. And then I find out a week or days later that God has something better for me. So I just had to have the courage and the bravery to take that first step. It may not be always the case for everybody, but I'm just saying that as long as you know that you've done your best and you've exhausted all means to do your best, truly just have faith, and I know there'll be divine providence. It will find a way of sorting itself out. Yon. For the control freaks out there. There's only so much we can do.
Oo. I won't add any more to that because that's the perfect ending to this show, that we should believe in the divine providence. Ayun. So, thank you so much for
Thank
gracing
you, thank
our
you.
community. Nandito ka and your presence is here and sharing the nuggets of wisdom that you have. Thank you so much. And I hope that those who have viewed this conversation and those who are going to watch the replay would get value out of it. So thank you so much. And thank you. Okay, sino pa ba yung nandito? Those who are still here, hello. Hi, Helen. Okay, so ayun. So
And
we'll end
maybe
this
you can
now.
and you can maybe also share with your friends, those who want to try out Kundalini Yoga. I think Brandy can just send you some of my
Yeah.
posters in case you want to
Oo.
try. I'll send the schedule of my weekly classes. You can just message Brandy first, and then
Kami
we can get
puputol.
connected.
So I'll share those to the community. Those who are interested with Kundalini Yoga. So send nyo lang ako ng message, and but then I'll also post sa community. It's something that at least man lang once i-try.
Yeah.
Yun. Experience it even if it's just once. All right? So God bless everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Hi, thank you so much, Brandy. Love, love, love to you.
All right.